Late Night Parents. Ways to follow the show is latenightparents.com. America is facing a cybersecurity skills crisis. Microsoft recently launched a national campaign to help community colleges expand the cybersecurity workforce. Cybersecurity is the practice of protecting critical systems and sensitive information from digital attacks, also known as information technology security. Cybersecurity measures are designed to combat threats against network systems and applications, whether those threats originate from inside or outside an organization. In 2020, average cost of a data breach was about $3.6 million globally. But in the United States, it was 8.64 million. These costs include the expenses of discovering and responding to the breach, the cost of downtime and lost revenue, and the long-term reputational damage to a business and its brand. Cybercriminals target customers' personally identifiable information, otherwise known as PII, names, addresses, national identification numbers, such as social security numbers in the US, fiscal codes in Italy, credit card information, and then sell these records in underground digital marketplaces. Compromised PII often leads to a loss of customer trust, regulatory fines, and even legal action. Security systems complexity created by disparate technologies and a lack of in-house expertise can amplify these costs. But organizations with a comprehensive cybersecurity strategy, governed by the best practices and automated using advanced analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning, can fight cyber threats more effectively and reduce the life cycle and impact of these breaches. Cybersecurity domains, like a strong cybersecurity strategy, has layers of protection to defend against cyber crimes, including cyber attacks that attempt to access, change, or destroy data, extort money from users or their organization, or aim to disrupt normal business operations. Countermeasures should address critical infrastructure security, and this is like practices for protecting the computer systems, networks, and other assets that society relies upon for national security, economic health, and or public safety. The National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, has created a cybersecurity framework to help organizations in this area, while the United States Department of Homeland Security provides additional guidance. Network security, that's security that measures for protecting a computer network from intruders, including both wired and wireless connections. Application security, processes that help protect applications operating on premise and in the cloud. Security should be built into applications at the design stage with considerations for data is handled and user authentication and etc. A really big one is cloud security because everyone's talking about going to the cloud. Our email or videos or photos, but specifically true confidential computing that encrypts cloud data at rest in storage, in motion as it travels from and within the cloud, and in use during processing to support customer privacy, business requirements, and regulatory compliance standards. Information security, that's data protection measures such as General Data Protection Regulation, or GDRP, that secure the most sensitive data from unauthorized access, exposure, or theft. In user education, building security awareness across an organization to strengthen endpoint security. For example, users can be trained to delete suspicious email attachments, avoid using unknown USB drives, etc. disaster recovery and business continuity planning, tools and procedures for responding to unplanned events such as natural disasters, power outages, cybersecurity incidents with minimum disruption to key operations. And storage security, you have to look at it. This storage security should include encryption and isolate, it's basically isolate data copies of your data. These remain in the same pool so that they can quickly be restored to support recovery, minimizing the impact of a cyber attack. What are some dangerous cybersecurity myths? The volume of cybersecurity incidents is on the rise across the globe, but misconceptions continue to persist, including the notion that cyber criminals are outsiders. In reality, cybersecurity breaches are often a result of malicious insiders working for themselves or in concert with outside hackers. These insiders can be part of a well organized group backed by nation states. Risks are well known. In fact, the risk surface is still expanding, with thousands of new vulnerabilities being reported in old and new applications and devices, and opportunities for human error, specifically by negligent employees or contractors who unintentionally cause a data breach, keep increasing. Attack vectors are contained. Cyber criminals are finding new attack vectors all the time, including Linux systems, operational technology, the Internet of Things, devices, and cloud environments. My industry is safe. Every industry has a share of cybersecurity risks, with cyber adversaries exploiting the necessities of communication networks within almost every government and private sector organization. For example, ransomware attacks are targeting more sectors than ever, including local governments and not-for-profits, and threats on our supply chains, um, gov websites, and critical infrastructure have also increased. What are some common cyber threats? So, although cybersecurity professionals work hard to close security gaps, attackers are always looking for new ways to escape IT notice, evade defense measures, and exploit emerging weaknesses. The latest cybersecurity threats are putting a new spin on known threats, taking advantage of the work from home environments, remote access tools, and new cloud services. These evolving threats include malware. Now, the term malware refers to malicious software variants, such as worms, viruses, trojans, and spyware that provide unauthorized access or cause damage to a computer. Malware attacks are increasingly fileless and designed to get around familiar detection methods, such as antivirus tools that scan for malicious attachments. Pretty popular one is ransomware. Ransomware is a type of malware that locks down files, data, or systems and threatens to erase and destroy the data or make private or sensitive data available to the public unless a ransom is paid to the cyber criminals who launched the attack. Recent ransomware attacks have targeted state and local governments, which are easier to breach than organizations and under pressure to pay ransoms in order to restore applications and websites on which citizens rely. Phishing and social engineering. Phishing is a form of social engineering that tricks users into providing their own personally identifiable information or sensitive information. In phishing scams, emails or text messages appear to be from a legitimate company asking for sensitive information, such as credit card data or login information. The FBI has noted that about a surge in pandemic related phishing tied to the growth of remote work. Insider threats. Current or former employees, business partners, contractors, or anyone who has had access to systems or networks in the past can be considered an insider threat if they abuse their access permissions, Insider threats can be invisible to traditional security solutions like firewalls and intrusion detection systems, which focus on external threats. Distributed denial of service attacks, DDoS. A DDoS attack attempts to crash a server, website, or a network by overloading its traffic, usually from multiple coordinated systems. DDoS attacks overwhelm enterprise networks via SNMP, Simple Network Management Protocol, used for modems, printers, switches, routers, and servers. Advanced persistent threats. An APT, an intruder or a group of intruders infiltrate a system and remain undetected for an extended period of time. The intruders leave the networks and systems intact so that the intruder can spy on the business activity, steal sensitive information, while avoiding the activation of defense countermeasures. The recent SolarWinds breach of the United States government systems is an example of APT. Man in the middle attacks. Man in the middle attack is an eavesdropping attack where a cyber criminal intercepts and relays messages between two parties in order to steal data. For example, on an unsecure Wi Fi network, an attacker can intercept data being passed between the guest device and the network. Some key cybersecurity technologies and best practices. uh, Identity and Access Management, IAM, defines roles and access privileges for each user, as well as the conditions under which they are granted or denied their privileges. IAM methodologies include single sign on, which enables a user to log into a network once without re entering their credentials during the same session. Multi factor authentication, requiring two or more access credentials. Privileged user accounts, which grant administrative privileges to certain users. And user lifecycle management, which manages each user's identity and access privileges from initial registration through retirement. IAM tools can also give you cybersecurity professionals deeper visibility into suspicious activity on end user devices. A comprehensive data security platform protects sensitive information across multiple environments, including hybrid multi cloud environments. The best data security platforms provide automated, real time visibility into data vulnerabilities, as well as ongoing monitoring that alerts them to data vulnerabilities and risks that could potentially become data breaches. They should also simplify compliance with government and industry data privacy regulations. So, more importantly, backups and encryption are also vital for keeping data safe. Security information and event management, that's called a SIEM. It aggregates and analyzes data from security events to automatic detection suspicious user activities and triggers a preventive or remedial response. Zero trust security strategy. You know, businesses today are connected like they've never been before. So your systems, your user, and your data all live and operate in different environments. So perimeter-based security is no longer adequate, but implementing security protocols within each environment creates complexity. A zero trust strategy assumes compromise and sets up controls to validate every user, device, and connection into the business for authenticating and overall purpose.